Now that you've found UBN Radio and discovered our quality talk shows, it's time to spread the word to friends, family, and the universe. 24 hours of music and talk. Radio without limits. That's why people keep coming back for more. That's UBNradio.com.
You used to call me on my... You used to. Yeah. You used to call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need my love. Call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need my love.
I know when the hotline blink. Hi, guys. Hello, Periscopers. Hello, guys out there. You're watching The Morning Score, your top-of-day fix for professional and for college sports and for gaming. Periscopers, thank you for joining us. As always, we have to hang up with you guys now, but make sure you tune into ubnradio.com, Channel 1, to watch this conversation live on air. Erica Renee D in the house. Find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Erica Renee D. Steph Z.
That's me, yo. You guys can find me on all the social media platforms at IAMSTEFZ. I'd love to hear from you. What's happening? What are you doing? How's your Back to the Future today?
Oh, my God. October 21st, 2015. The day is finally here. BTW. Make sure you follow all of us on Twitter at The Morning Score and on Instagram at The Morning Score Show. And for all of you friends, all you guys out there who have friends who need to watch this show, you tell them about this. You tell them to go to YouTube tomorrow to watch this episode and all the others. Go to our Twitter page, our Facebook page, and also download this episode on iTunes. So when you're riding in your car, listening to Hotline Bling, you're going to say to yourself, I'd rather hear The Morning Score than listen to Drake Hotline Bling.
Ooh, I like it. I like where your head's at.
You know, Trevor.
Force the hand.
Force the hand, and Trevor is not here today, by the way.
Nope.
No Trevor.
He's vacationing in Mexico.
Steph, what were you saying? Something
What?
about, I don't know.
The fact that he's vacationing in Mexico might have some reason to do with the fact that his Cubs are losing.
Cubs, I'm really sad about that. We're going to talk about that today. The sizzle, the most relevant newsworthy topics of the day. Got some hot stuff to talk about, Steph.
We do. I'm excited.
Me too. And the running joke for the week has been Trevor's not here, so we don't have a referee. So hopefully Steph and I do not jump across the table and kill each other today.
We will be fine. What are you talking about? None but love.
I'm just saying, okay.
It keeps it interesting, yo.
It does.
We can't agree on everything.
Or anything.
True.
And
We just did.
Okay, yes.
There's one.
We're making progress here.
There it
Progress. All right, guys. So the former Madam Katina Powell, who supplied paid dancers and prostitutes to Louisville basketball recruits, has written a memoir, and it's called Breaking Cardinal Rules, Basketball and the Escort Queen. So Katina Powell is this prostitute, essentially, who from 2010 to 2010 to 2014, basically was a part of the recruiting process for University of Louisville basketball program. She not only had sex with recruits and players, but she had more than 24 girls who she employed, who also had sex with players, who also served as strippers, dancers, prostitutes, all for money. Her daughters.
I was
actually,
like, two of which her daughters were involved.
Yeah, her daughters were involved in it. So now essentially she has dropped this bombshell. Coach Pitino has said he has absolutely no idea what she's talking about, that if these allegations are true, then Andre McGee, who was the grad assistant coach who allegedly paid for these services, Pitino is urging to come forward and tell his story and to take blame for all that he did. Steph.
Well, I got a few things about this.
There's a lot to say.
There is so much to say about this. The one thing that stands out the most about this entire read for me was the fact that this happened over 4 years.
Yes.
And she only made $10,000.
Girl, that 4 years.
I mean, like, I hate to be that person, but like, if you're not that I condone this, but if your business is to have women sleep with college athletes semi-professional athletes, like if you're in that business, how are you only making $10,000 over 4 years? That's $2,500 a year.
$10,000.
What are these girls having? They said they were having sex for $100.
One of her daughters,
Like,
one of
what?
her daughters said that she had sex with a recruit one time for $100. So this girl admitted this on, I think, Outside the Lines, ESPN.
That's a dinner.
I'm thinking to myself,
That's
look,
an expensive dinner.
dinner. I have never prostituted myself out. I don't plan on ever doing that. But let me tell you, if I ever do that, not $100. Are you kidding me? That's a sneeze.
That's.
You better come with $10,000 to get this. Are you serious?
I mean, more, but yeah, that was
More than $10,000.
Yeah,
What's your
come
price?
on.
What's your
I
price?
don't have one. $1 million.
Priceless.
Priceless. No, but seriously, like I was reading, and like I get it. We'll bring it back to sports and whatever. But I was just like 10,000. Like it was just like what?
$10,000
Not
for
only
22 parties.
and
Over-
2 of them are your daughter.
Yeah,
What is
yeah.
wrong with you? You're
okay.
writing a book, and you know what? And the sad thing is, she's probably not writing the book for money because she's got no business sense at all.
She's got no business sense. Okay. So let me ask this.
Yeah.
So what do you think catalyzed Katina Powell to come forward with all this information? Do you think that she asked the University of Louisville for, I don't know, maybe a certain amount of money to keep
No,
quiet?
I
Like,
think
why do
they
you think
maybe
she's coming?
stopped. Like if you
Okay.
think about it, it's 2010 to 2014. Maybe she tried to do it again this year, and they're like, no, and they're like, oh, this is my business. All right, well, you're gonna kibosh my business. Well, then I'm gonna release this book and set. I don't know. It doesn't.
That makes sense though, because Andre McGee, the head man in charge of this prostitution dancer ring,
not there
he's
anymore,
not
right?
there anymore. So maybe
Yeah.
that's a very good theory.
I mean, like she's smart. I mean. All relative speaking.
Yeah.
She's smart in the sense to have kept a journal in case something ever happened, in case a player. I mean, I don't know. Like,
did you
if I'm-
see her writing in the journal was so neat.
It
Like,
was neat.
it
So
was-
I believe her. I believe that this stuff happened. As much as I don't understand her business sense and her motives, really, because I mean, like, if they would have said this was like in 1976 and it was like $100 for a lay, fine. But like a few years ago, $100.
Seriously, they need to take some notes from those women at the brothel in Nevada that Lamar Odom was sleeping with. They were getting paid $19,000 a weekend.
I mean, yeah, like it was just so. And again, not that I condone this. I think it's trash all around. But in the same sense, I do believe this happens. I do believe there
Yes.
are perks for players, for athletes, for celebrities, for anyone. There is a way that people try and coerce people to do things they
Yeah.
want to do. There's ulterior motives always. I think that it's a little bit far-fetched that Patino has no knowledge.
Okay.
No, a little. What do you think? Do you think he does? Do you
I
think he
think-
doesn't know.
Katina Powell made a very good statement on Outside the Line, or a very profound statement, I should say, when the interviewer asked her if she thought Patino knew. She claims that Andre McGee, the graduate assistant who provided the money, when she asked him, does Patino know? And Andre McGee's alleged response was, are you kidding me? Rick knows everything.
Right.
And so Colin Cowherd made a really good point. He said that people like Bill Belichick and Patino, who have their tentacles in every parts of their business, are so smart and so aware of everything that's going on, not only around them, but in their actual business, that there's no way that they wouldn't know. Like, so Bill Belichick, for example, he wasn't deflating the footballs, but damn bet your bottom dollar that he knew it was happening.
Right.
Patino might not have been giving the money to the graduate assistant to pay the dancers and the prostitutes, but there's no way for 4.5 years he did not know this was happening.
Well, yeah, and they even said it in that same article. I think they said something to the effect of that at some point someone had to be like, hey, man, we're going to do this tonight. Why don't you come?
Exactly.
Like someone had to try and include him.
Should he step down?
Should he step down? No.
No. Okay. Why not?
Because I feel like, again, you've got to be deluded and live under a rock to think that stuff like this doesn't
Thank you.
exist.
It happens at every school.
It happens at every school. Not that I'm saying it's right. Yes, I feel like maybe there will be some more things that they try and put in place to prevent this. I don't think it's going to happen. And again, I feel like now that everybody... Well, I guess with this case, it doesn't really matter because she kept the journal, but there's a solid reason that all of a sudden she's now coming forward. And
There
again,
is. What
I
is
don't
it?
believe that it has to do with money because she does not seem business savvy to me. Like,
15 minutes of fame,
$2,500, but not even that, because now it's like it can't promote her business because her business is quote unquote illegal. So it's not like she's looking for fame so that people can then be like, "Ooh, I want to sleep with the girls that slept with them." You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like, it just doesn't make sense. The book. How many people are really gonna buy this book? Are you gonna buy the book?
I'm not gonna buy the book.
Do you care?
No, but I'm not gonna buy the book. Let me ask you this: I do care.
But I mean, do you care to read the entire book? You've
I
got
don't.
the gist of the story.
Yeah.
You get the juicy points. Like, we get the footnotes or the cliff notes, whatever you call it.
She's not interested. Katina Powell, to me, is not interesting enough of a character for me to want to buy the book. And also, this incident that happened at Louisville happens, I assume, across all college football and basketball programs if you have a good basketball program at your school. So this is not interesting to me. Steph, if you had a son or a nephew who came to you and said, Aunt Steph,
Oh, I have 2 nephews. Here we go. What?
Aunt Steph, I was on a recruiting trip at the University of Florida this weekend, and people gave me money to pay strippers and prostitutes. How would you feel? What would you do? How would you react?
Ooh, I would like to think that my nephews would not partake.
Girl, do they have penises?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
No, I mean, there's a fine line. Like, taking recruits out to strip clubs, giving them, 100 ones to make it rain on strippers, having a good time, I think is fine.
If your nephew said, Aunt Steph,
I had sex with a stripper.
With a stripper. My grad assistant who's recruiting me
I think that I would
money.
be more upset that they made a choice to have sex with a stripper who could be dirty and you don't know where that girl's been, rather than it being bad that some of his quote unquote boys took him out to a strip club.
Okay.
I would be like, dude, like, I get it, it's all fun and stuff, but like, you don't know where that girl's been. Like, you don't want your penis to fall off. Come on now.
I have nephews.
Yeah.
I would talk to them before they went on their recruiting trips and say, look, this is how.
No, you didn't give me that option.
Okay.
You didn't give me that option.
You're right. Okay, so let's say my nephew Langston comes back and says, they call me Auntie. Auntie, I was at the University of Georgia recruiting trip this weekend, and I had sex with a stripper that my recruiting coach paid for. I would say, Langston, was it good? I'm kidding.
No, you would.
Yeah, probably.
But I mean, like, boys are going to be boys.
That's
Like,
true.
I don't think there's nothing that wrong. And again, that's very different in my mind. That's very different than, like, taking someone out to a strip club and paying for sex or something is different than bringing these girls into the dorm that's supposed to be their home, their safe space, and maybe making them feel like they should do it, they need to do, like that pressure side of it. I feel like there's 2 sides of it.
But does any 18-year-old boy feel forced to have sex?
No, but I feel like, actually, yes. I feel like there are some 18-year-old boys that would be smart enough that have maybe had those conversations with an aunt, with a mom, with somebody, and know I should not go sleep with a stripper.
Okay.
I'm good enough. I'll just go to the bar and find some girl that doesn't get paid to strip, and I'll just stick it in there.
Well, but you know what? Dancers / strippers have a lot of tricks up their sleeves. So, I mean, that could be a rewarding experience. You could be taught a few things. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
A stripper might teach you some things that a regular girl at a bar can't teach you. I'm just saying.
She also might give you some things you can't get rid of. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay. So we both agree that Patino should not step down.
Shit, that's 2 agrees. What is happening?
I don't know. But let's say this, though. If the NCAA finds him in violation or finds that program in violation of improper benefits, then he might not have a choice but to step down because money was exchanged.
Right, but see, I have a problem with this stuff. I have a problem with this. This makes me think of the Penn State situation. I have a problem with this happened from 2010 to 2014. So what they should do is go back and find Andre McGee. You know what I mean? Like, they can't now take away stuff for the current players, the current program.
I agree with that.
Because they weren't there. I don't think that's fair. Like, how Penn State wasn't supposed to be able to compete in the bowls and stuff. Like, that's not fair. Those kids didn't do what happened. The fact that it took the university 4 years to find out about it is their own damn fault.
It's their own fault.
They need to figure out how to rectify that in a different way. If they find out that Patino has something to do with it, fine. Fire him. Fine him.
Maybe vacate those wins and take away the championship and all of his 16 appearances that happened during that time. Okay.
Something like that, fine. But to punish them this year forward, not fair.
Okay. Hashtag TMS.
Or if there's any players that are still on the team that partook in this, suspend them, something like that.
I agree with that. I agree
Yeah.
with that. You guys join the conversation on Twitter, #TMS Talk. What do you guys think about Patino? Should he step down? Should the University of Louisville be fined? Should they get the death sentence? And should they get the death sentence? You know, whatever. Let us know what you guys think. #TMS Talk on Twitter. Speaking of paid dancers and prostitutes, the downfall of Lamar Odom all kind of culminated with his little stint in a Nevada brothel that ended up with him being on the brink of death, which miraculously has turned to him being on the road to recovery. Lamar Odom went from being the 6th man of the year as a Laker to being a very sick man who has crack cocaine abuse problems, who married and divorced very publicly Khloe Kardashian, and whose basketball career at one point was one of the most lauded, applauded, and now he's out of the league dealing with substance abuse problems and other demons. Lamar, we have been thinking about you and cheering for you, and I have really been intrigued by the fact that he has turned his, I can't say turned his life around because he's still, not doing well, but that I'm intrigued that he didn't die. I mean, considering that they found cocaine in his system, they found the sexual supplement Reload in his system, which Reload, the FDA asked years ago for anyone who has Reload, which is a sexual supplement. I don't use it, I'm just letting you know. My disclaimer, stuff to use Reload.
No.
I think it's only for men anyway.
Oh, okay.
I guess, I don't know.
Jarvis.
Trevor, he's not here, but Trevor.
It would make sense for men to reload
Yeah,
so they could
reload.
reload.
Yeah, reload that.
There we go.
So according to the FDA, they cautioned people to throw that drug out because even taking one could send you to the emergency room. Well, apparently Lamar took 10, so he had that in his system. He had cocaine in his system. Was found with mucus coming out of his nose and out of his mouth. Unconscious, had many strokes, is on dialysis. What can we say about the overall career of Lamar as far as how he went from here to here? How he started from the top, now he's here. Started from the top, now I'm here.
Well, I have a little bit of a different take on this whole situation.
Do it.
I actually know somebody who dated Lamar.
Oh, who? What's her name?
I won't say. Okay. In college.
Okay.
When he was at the University of Rhode
Island.
Not a big thing, couple dates, whatever. But when all this happened, I got a text from her, and she was, saying that, and I'll state this, she's not a fan of the Kardashians at all. And she said that Khloe was the best thing that happened to Lamar. That a lot of these problems that he had in college. He had before all this stuff.
So the drug abuse.
A lot of it was, and this is not, I don't know if this is fact, hearsay, whatever, but this is just what I've heard, so it's made me think about the spin a little bit. So he's, a troubled, struggled individual before any of the fame, the glory, that, so starting off, when your foundation is somewhat in quicksand, I feel like it was almost doomed, that he's the nicest, sweetest, most aware person. But there was just something, he had a disease, quote unquote, a problem. And that
disease meaning the alcoholism,
doing drugs, stuff like that. So I feel like, and that's again why we cheer for him in a way, because the situation with his father being a heroin addict. His mom died when he was super young. His one of his kids died.
His baby died at 6 months old from SIDS.
Yeah, so it's like he's lived. I feel like when there's celebrity, we feel like they're untouchable in a way, and he's the opposite of that. So we empathize, we sympathize, we relate to him.
Yeah.
So we cheer for him. But everything I've heard is this stand-up guy.
Yeah.
And we cheer for him, and it's sad. Like the overall thing for me, it's sad. And again, like everyone somewhat makes a mockery out of it, and he was involved with the Kardashians. But you know what? At the end of the day, and this is going to be like my bold statement for like ever, I think.
Okay.
The Kardashians are almost like the mob. Once you're in the family, you're in the family. Like they rallied around him no matter what.
They did.
And they know when to shut off their phones. Like Caitlyn Jenner, they rallied around that. Like they might be trash in a lot of ways, or trashy, or we might
Kardashians.
Right. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's kind of like when you're in the family, you're in the family, and they show up for each other.
Do.
So I have to give them applause for that.
Can we get a round of applause for the Kardashians, please, Jarvis? Round of applause for Khloe.
No, you know what I mean? So and
I do.
Like I think it's It's crazy. I mean, I don't know about you, but I know you say you're intrigued that he's doing better. I'm shocked that he was doing better. Like, you don't hear people bounce back from multiple strokes, this drugs, this.
He was in a coma, dialysis, his organs were failing. And before, just want to interject this. Lamar was the first Laker player to ever win the 6th Man of the Year award. He was a very important part of those 2009 and 2010 Lakers championships. When Bynum was hurt and going crazy, Lamar Odom stepped in and played that role. And then when Bynum was healthy, Lamar Odom backed up Bynum and Gasol. And then, of course, he went to the Mavs and then the Clippers. I unlike a lot of people, think that Khloe and Lamar were really in love.
Yeah, and I feel like Khloe's a bit different.
I do too, because she's a different daddy allegedly, so she doesn't. Just want to throw that out.
Maybe. Oh yeah.
Possibly. I mean, she doesn't have all those genes. Her gene pool is a little bit different because she's a different daddy.
Yeah, like if I had to pick a Kardashian that I'd want to sit down and have a whiskey with, it'd be Khloe.
Yeah,
if I'd want to talk business, it'd be Kris Jenner, of course, because she's one of the most amazing business people ever. She's created a business out of sex tape, really.
So do you? She did. Yes, that's exactly what she has done. Do you think that? Now, Khloe, of course, was dating.
Maybe Katina should call her.
Maybe Katina Powell should. Katina Powell, you need to call Kris Jenner and really figure out how it's done.
$2,500 a year, girl, you're doing it wrong.
Horrible. So Khloe was dating James Harden, and now the tabloid reports are that she's putting that relationship on hold. Do you think that once Lamar comes out on the other end of this, Khloe will try to repair her marriage with Lamar again?
Well, I feel like we've seen this already. Like, this isn't the first time that Lamar's tried to get help.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. I mean, that whole, I have mixed feelings about that. Like, I understand, and I feel bad for James Harden, but I understand where she's at. You know, they had something, but it's like, you don't want someone to be with you for sympathy. You know what I mean?
Good
so
point.
That only goes so long.
That's
true.
true.
Will they be able to rekindle their relationship? I don't know. If I had an ex call me up and they were, on the brink of death, would I show up? Of course I'd show up. Would I give them any help because I know them in a different way and I might know their past? And yeah, but do I think that would then be the ingredients for a good relationship? I don't know.
Yeah,
I agree. And I don't know what stage, Khloe's current relationship is at, but for her to make that choice, I'm not shocked by it.
Yeah, it's a compassionate thing to do. I mean, and technically she's his next of kin because their divorce is not final. So, as she is fulfilling her family duties, she's his wife.
Yeah, she was making the choices for him. And again, not only is it what he's gone through, like, you got to understand, like, your ex calls you up and they're on their deathbed, so to speak. You show up, but when it all sets in, yes, they need help, but yes, they were doing cocaine at a house of hookers.
$75,000 worth of cocaine and hookers.
Yeah, like,
BTW.
how do you get past that? Are you a strong enough? Is it strong to say it's okay? He has a problem. Is it stronger to say you have a problem? I want different. Like, there's a lot. It's really sticky.
It's very complicated.
Yeah,
it is. Okay. Hashtag TMS Talk. Please forgive us for spending so much time talking about the Kardashians, but we love Lamar.
They did right this time.
They did come through, and I do want to note that a lot of the sports analysts are really irritated that this story has become less about Lamar and his ascent to athletic stardom and more about his descent as he became a reality star. And I have to say, you and I probably also agree on this, and Jarvis too, as people who love sports, it is kind of sad that this has become a Kardashian story versus a Lakers 6-man story, a Clipper, Maverick, former player story. But
for me, the only reason why it's somewhat of a Kardashian story is because I feel like his involvement with Khloe was good for him.
Okay.
And I feel like once that all has fallen to shit, he's kind of been spinning out. So whoever his relationship was with plays in his addiction and in his problem. And again, also other things play in his addiction, his problem. Like, for a guy who probably feels like he has no foundation, no stability be on the Lakers, and to learn that he might be traded to the New Orleans, you know what I mean? Like, that's got to mess with your mind. And when you've got kind of a short fuse, or not that he was an angry person and blew up, but you know what I mean? Like, when you
sensitive, emotional.
Yes, that's a better word. When you have that, you're affected by all these things. So, I give lots of love to Lamar. I always liked him.
Love, thoughts, prayers, positive energy to Lamar Odom. Hashtag TMS Talk. Guys on Twitter, jump in the conversation. Should Khloe get back with Lamar? Can Lamar bounce back from this and maybe not take on a new role as an NBA player, but maybe have some kind of role in the NBA, maybe as I don't know.
You know what? There's one more thing that's been kind of annoying
Jarvis,
me
you
about
shake your
this
head no.
thing. Well, I've seen so many tweets go around that say when Lamar's healthy, the Lakers better sign him.
I saw that too. I'm like, really? This dude, his kidneys aren't even working. Come on now.
I mean, that was kind of, I was going to keep that for my fandemonium, but like, because it bothers me. Like, why all of a sudden is it the Lakers' responsibility to take this guy back? You know what I mean? Like, there's so much irrational thought. Like, So yeah. I don't foresee Lamar playing in the NBA
No, I
again.
don't either. Let's just hope he can walk and talk.
Yeah, let's just,
again.
baby steps for him.
Baby steps. Monday Night Football. Ooh. That game was a travesty.
Ugly.
It was so ugly.
It was so ugly.
And as ugly as it was, it still ended up being a 27-7 victory for the Eagles. As poorly as the Eagles played, they still won by 20 points. This game, to me, says so much about the NFC East and how convoluted that whole NFC East picture is. We don't know at this point who will come out of the NFC East as the top dog. Right now, the Eagles and the Giants are tied, both at 3-3, 500, and then you have the Cowboys and then the Redskins. To me, the most important thing about that Monday Night Football game was DeMarco Murray rushing for 109 yards. And the reason I care about that so much is because he is my fantasy running back. I needed that.
But also, he only had 130 yards in the first 4 games.
Hey, what the heck?
Yeah.
So, is Chip Kelly catching a clue? Is the offensive line holding up better to give DeMarco Murray more room? I can say this definitively. Sam Bradford is underwhelming, has continued to underperform, and I think of the NFC East quarterbacks, I think he's the weakest link. Weaker than Whedon, weaker than Romo, weaker than Cousins, weaker than RG3.
Weaker than Cousins.
Weaker than Cousins. Yeah, come on. Come on, Steph. Not weaker than Cousins? Tell me.
So, my take on the Eagles is this. Eagles, and I know, and I'm ready for it, but I know Monday was such a sloppy game. But the Eagles finally are starting to connect. And this is why I say that. Because even through the ugliness, you got the offensive line giving DeMarco Murray holes finally. Even through the ugliness, you got Sam Bradford having enough time to throw to Miles Austin to use some of his other receivers that he can. The Eagles, what they have is their second effort. The Eagles want it. They really, really want it. And I feel like this Monday night, the Eagles turned a corner. I really do. Because the Giants came out and they were so strong. And I actually picked the Giants to win. Oh. And I was like, oh yeah, this is easy. Eli Manning, whatever.
The other New York team.
Even into the beginning of the third quarter, I'm like, yeah, but it's Eli Manning. They can come back. They can come back. No, it was such. 7 turnovers. It was an ugly game. It was like, I'm going to intercept you, then you're going to fumble to me, then I'm going to pass it back to you, and then no one will score. It was crazy. But I really do think that the Eagles are starting to find things that work.
Okay.
I mean, and I trust Chip Kelly. I trust him. I trust that, the offense that he was running was a different style from the offense in Dallas, and that's maybe took a couple, a little bit of time for DeMarco Murray. The offensive line, it's not like people are like, oh my God, DeMarco Murray only had 11 yards in the first 2 games. It's not like his legs don't work. It's just that, there was no opportunity for him to get the yards. So I feel like now that's somewhat coming together. Jordan Matthews, that guy every single time goes for the extra yard. The Eagles want it, and I think that they're going to continue winning.
So you know how I feel about the Eagles. The whole Chip Kelly offseason melee debacle really rubbed me the wrong way. I think for him to have, he achieved prominence as the Oregon head coach, but he didn't win anything. And he came in wreaking havoc on an organization that I feel its players, the Boykins, who else? The Macklins. I feel like that the Eagles team had enough strong role players where Chip Kelly could have worked with those players for at least a couple of years, maybe 3 years before he cleaned house. So that's my biggest thing with Chip Kelly. Right. So I have a problem with Chip Kelly. But to your point, yes, the Eagles did look like they clicked more than they had been clicking in previous games. But also, I don't think that the Giants' loss Monday night is indicative of how they really play. Like, I had this undying faith in Eli. I was hosting a show in 2007 called Two Girls on Sports, and I correctly predicted that the Giants will win that Super Bowl that year that the Patriots were undefeated. And not because Eli's flashy, not because his numbers during the regular season are awesome, because they always leave something to be desired. But I just think that Eli has such a will, and Coughlin, because he's always on the hot seat. Like, you feel like the Eagles, they really want it. I feel like the Giants always figure out a way to surprise us.
They have, but not for the past 2 years.
Not for the past few years, actually.
Yeah.
And I think we get so caught up in the Chip Kelly coaching offensive genius narrative that we forget Eli and the Giants are sitting on 2 relatively recent Super Bowl championships.
Right.
So Coughlin said it best. That was very bad football. I think the Giants will bounce back. I think that once the picture is a little bit clearer and less cloudy, we will see the Giants come out victorious and secure the NFC East. As far as I'm concerned, the Cowboys and the Redskins are complete non-factors.
See, I don't agree with you. You got Dez Bryant coming back this week.
Yeah, Dez Bryant and Romo eventually.
Yeah, Romo's got, I think, 2 more weeks on the bench, and the Cowboys. You know, that I feel like that's the story for that division. Is it's like the underdog. Like, every team's almost an underdog. Every team wants it. Every team can come back from behind. So I feel like that's why we see not a real strong leader who, you know, there's no 4-1 or 4-2 or 5-0 or 5-1 team in that division right now, you know, because it's always like, well, it's about the will and the heart more so in that division.
And there's a lot of drama in that division.
Yeah,
there's
a lot of injury in that division as well.
Yes, yeah.
I do think the Giants are okay. I do think the Eagles finally turned that sloppy. I mean, we were ripping the Eagles apart for the first couple weeks, and I feel like they've turned because when you're having such an ugly game, for you to finally click on the things and not get more discouraged, I feel like shows mentally something that they were missing. They have the skills, they have the players, but they were missing that mental connection. And by no means am I an Eagles fan. I know, I would want the Giants to win, but I just watching that Monday Night Football game, I kind of saw something different.
So Steph thinks...
I do think the Cowboys are going to start to get it together as well. You know, I think everyone's going to give a run for their money. I feel like this is going to be a division where you can be, you know, 9-7 and go to the playoffs, or 8-8. Like, that's the division where everyone else will be like, you know, 12-4 or whatever.
And this might be the division where we really won't know until the very end of the season how it all plays out. It might come down to the last few games of the season for it to pan out. Again, for the Giants, I feel like once the Giants tighten up those stupid penalties, delays of game, which are always there's like kindergarten mistakes.
But that's discipline, and that all
is
comes from Coughlin. And I feel like Coughlin, you know, they were talking about getting rid of him last year. If he doesn't make it to the playoffs this year, he's done.
Oh, I agree with you.
And I'm okay with that.
I am okay with that as well, but I think that those brain farts, those stupid penalties, those Eli needing to find his rhythm, and also once their running game gets up and going, I think that the Giants will not easily take the division, but my vote and
they have the team to do it.
They have the team to do it.
And especially if Victor Cruz comes back. I mean, there's no telling when he's going to come back, but they've still, some of their key players are still not there. You know, like you got Victor Cruz not there on offense. You got Pierre-Paul still not.
Oh, yeah, the finger situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hashtag TMS Talk. What do you guys think? Do you think that the Giants or the Eagles, who are both tied for the NFC East right now, which of those teams do you think will come out victorious and secure the NFC East? Or do you think it might be the Cowboys or the Redskins? Who knows? Hashtag TMS Talk. Join the conversation on Twitter. Let's talk some more porn, okay? Let's talk some porn.
Some more porn. Did I miss the porn talk?
Well, the prostitution scandal is kind of like porn.
Kinda.
NFL Network. During a locker room interview with Adam Pac-Man Jones, the NFL Network accidentally airs on live television's bare booties of several of the Bengals players. Now, there has been somewhat of an uproar, but then some people aren't really taking this seriously. Andrew Whitworth has been tweeting angry tweets about this happening, saying, why do I have to explain to my 4 kids that their dad's butt is naked on national television? If this had happened to a women's locker room, there would have been a riot. So my question to you guys out there and to Steph and to Jarvis, what new rules, if any, need to be implemented to respect players' privacy in locker rooms so that we won't have another NFL butt blunder like we did on Sunday?
I mean, I believe that Andrew Whitworth is completely 100% right.
What?
There's no reason why you have to have the interviews in the locker room. There's no reason why before the players go to the locker room, they can't stop at a media place and do their media. I understand the media is important, and he is 100% right. If that would have happened in the locker room of the U.S. women's national soccer team, it'd be crazy. Like you can't be a woman. You can't be asking for all these equal rights and all this stuff, and then have stuff that you asking women to go into these locker rooms, women and men. There's been all this controversy about women being treated badly in locker rooms afterwards. Like there's nothing good that comes out about it. You don't need for the background to be, the helmet with the number and the name in the little cubbyhole. Just have a media stop. Stupid, dumb, unnecessary.
Okay, so I strongly disagree. So just imagine when you're watching the Lakers play your favorite basketball or NFL team, and there's this heightened sense of celebration, or let's say your team lost, and there's this feeling of, oh my God, I feel so defeated. At any rate, people watch the post game as passionately as they watch the actual game. So to see your favorite player, the Kobe with this towel over his head, sitting in front of his locker, or to see a Pac-Man Jones after the Bengals go 6-0, in the locker room where their energy is still palpable. Like there's nothing that compares to the locker room energy that as a fan you feel from your television as you're watching. So
right, but that can be created in a place where you stop before you go
I
to the locker room.
I don't think so because let's say they put like a step and repeat.
Or then just say, okay, 15 minutes afterwards, make it known that there's press in the locker room.
They do that. That's the thing. I think the NFL's is like 7 minutes long. It might be 10 minutes. I think they have a 7 minute cooling down period where every player knows that he needs to be dressed, or else once the reporters start coming in after 10 minutes, basically anything is fair game. Now, to that camera operators, to put blame on him, he should have noticed that he was getting bare bottoms. Like he should have zoned in more on Adam Pac-Man or tried to change his shot.
See, I don't know. I feel like you can get that energy. Like when you have a press conference after a game and you see a coach come up and sit at the desk, with the press wall behind you, and he's perplexed because they just lost and it was an ugly game. That energy is pretty similar to the energy in the locker room of the player.
I disagree.
I don't think it's necessary. I just don't think it's necessary. I don't think that we can continue to what?
What happened? Oh, we have a call coming in. Oh, let's take a call. Okay.
Let's see.
We have a call. Who's calling us? Who is this? Who do we have?
This is Justin from Raleigh. Is this Alec?
No, Justin. This is Steph, Z, and Erica on the Morning Score. You're on live air right now. What's going on?
Oh, wow. I'm fine. What are you up to?
We're talking sports, and you called in during our segment about Adam Pac-Man Jones and the NFL bare bottom blunder. Do you have something to talk about? You want to talk about how the NFL showed bare bottoms on Sunday afternoon on live television?
Oh, God. I don't know how that happened. What were they thinking?
What were they thinking? So would you
what was the cameraman doing?
What was the cameraman doing? Would you be offended if your bare bottom was on national television?
Depends how nice your bottom is.
How nice is your bottom?
Yeah. You'd have to ask my partner. I think it's okay. I don't think that it's a huge deal, but I don't know that I'd want the entire public to see it.
Yeah. Do you think that reporters should still be allowed in locker rooms? And do you think that if this would have happened in a women's locker room, that it would be a way bigger deal?
That's a great question. I think that the reporter definitely should be allowed. I think, if it's a repeat behavior, then there's probably an issue. I think that I don't really know. I think women in a women's locker room, the women might be more offended or shocked. And I think that men's bodies are not as protected as some women are about their bodies. So, yeah, I think that there probably would be a gender difference.
There would be. I agree with you. That's a great point. Thank you for calling in. We appreciate this phone call. Make sure you keep watching, and we have to get you a fan gift for calling in to the Morning Score.
Absolutely. Sounds great. Thank you.
Okay, have a good day.
Take care.
Love him.
Hey,
man, he knew what was happening. That's good.
He
North
knew.
Carolina, Raleigh. That's where he's from.
Thank you.
They know their sports there.
they do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe like I understand. I get what you're saying, but I still feel like the only way to really, if it's such a problem, the only way to solve the problem is to not do it.
See, I don't think it's such a problem. That's the thing.
That's it. If it's not that big
if
of
it's
a
not
problem, then fine. But the only way to make it so that it's zero issue,
Yeah.
I still think that you can get a good post-game interview.
And we had the picture.
It's different when you win like championships and stuff like that with the champagne stuff like that. Fine, because it's known that there's a celebration.
Yes.
And I don't think you've ever had that problem during something like that.
Well, and also if you look at the picture, the video probably does it better justice. The guy who's immediately in the background behind Adam Pac-Man Jones, I'm not sure which player that is. It was a black guy, and he's kind of like playing with the camera, almost as if he knows that his penis is getting ready to be exposed. I'm not saying he did it. I am saying he did it intentionally. I am saying I am saying that it's really funny because like he kind of notices the camera and then kind of like teases the camera, whereas like all the linemen in the back with the white booties in the back had their backs turned and they're just innocent victims. But this guy who's directly behind Adam Pac-Man Jones was like, look, you're getting ready to see this eggplant today. That's what he wanted.
He wanted the exposure.
He did. Can I say this though, Steph? Andrew Whitworth did say again, I shouldn't have to explain to my 4 kids why their dad's butt is naked on television.
And I agree with that.
I'm like, but if you haven't seen your dad's naked butt, come on now.
Right, but that's not the point.
Okay.
The point is those kids are going to go to school and they're going to get made fun of because their dad's butt was on TV. There's certain other repercussions that are going to happen that these people don't think about. It's not just about his butt and it not being a big deal to us as adults. Like those kids definitely heard about their dad's butt being on national television. And that's not fair.
I'll be like, my dad's butt makes X amount of millions of dollars a year.
True.
What you got to say about that?
True, but still, you say that now as a grown woman knowing it. You know, as
True.
a kid, you don't want that's embarrassing as a kid.
Okay.
And that's not fair.
All right. Hashtag TMS Talk. Were you guys out there offended by the butt blunder that the NFL Network aired live on Sunday after the Bengals game? Or is it not that serious? Join the conversation on Twitter. Today is October the 21st, 2015, a day that will forever live in infamy. According to Back to the Future 2 from 1989. This is the day that the Cubs are supposed to win the World Series, as according to Marty McFly. And instead, they're down 3-0 to the Mets.
Yeah.
Last night was a heartbreaker. Trevor, you're not here today to defend your Cubs.
Last night was a heartbreaker, but the Cubs had breaks. They had times. That ground rule double.
Yes, I agree.
That was the biggest horseshit I've ever seen.
Wait, the Ivy? Or,
yeah.
Well, I mean, so he
was almost at home plate.
He was. So when the ball gets stuck in the Ivy, was it you get to run 2 bases per.
It's a ground rule double.
Yeah. So they did have breaks.
So if the guy's at first, he gets to go to third, and the guy that hit it goes to second.
Yeah.
No matter where
no
he
matter
is.
What.
But the fact that the one player made an error and missed it, and the guy was already like rounding third, I mean, come on.
The Cubs, they tied it at 2. In the 6th inning, top of the 7th. The Mets were up 3-2. Mm-hmm. During the regular season, though, surprisingly, the Cubs, the Mets are 0-7. We're 0-7 against the Cubs during regular season. But now the Cubs are down 0-3 to the Mets. I, more than anything, wanted this not only for history to prove that it could be accurate almost 30 years out, but also for Trevor. And also just because the Cubs have been such an embattled franchise, like they were becoming the feel-good story. Yeah. I mean, people were taking them as bets because of the 1989 prediction from Back to the Future. And just because they haven't, I mean, the 2003, the home run blunder where the fan reached over. I mean, they've gotten so many unfortunate breaks. And I was really hoping if it couldn't be the Dodgers, that it would be the Cubs for those reasons. But
do you think they just can't handle the pressure? Do you just think the Mets are that much better?
I don't think the Mets are that much better.
I mean,
I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm born and raised a Mets fan. I was a Mets fan growing up. I have a Mets starter jacket. Well, listen, when I moved away from New York, I the Yankees were a better team for so long. So you just heard, like, you got to watch those games being away from New York. I know the players better, but if it was Subway Series, I would want the Mets to win. So with that said, I also don't. It's not like the Mets are doing something that's just so amazing in this postseason.
They're not.
So the Cubs, are they not handling the, like, what's happening with the Cubs that's making it a 3-0? And I don't, as much as, it'd be a good story and whatnot, I don't think we're going to see another, Bloody Sox, Red Sox series where it's going to come back from 3-0. Like, this is not going to happen.
And I have to interject.
I think the Mets are going to win.
I think the Mets are going to win, and it would be great if the Cubs could just win 4 games straight. But I think the stat and the fact is that they haven't won 4 straight playoff games since 1907 within one series. So, I mean,
that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, but I do want to also say that my roommate from college and her sister, Melissa and Jesse, are huge Mets fans. So this entire time I've just, kind of been thinking, oh, I wish it was the Dodgers, and it wasn't the Dodgers. And I was like, I wish it was the Cubs. I'm like, oh, my roommate from college and her sister and her family are Mets fans, so I guess I can pull for the Mets. But
another reason why you can pull for the Mets, because back in the day, my family were farmers and we farmed sod, and some of our sod was in Shea Stadium.
What?
Before it was
That's
City
a fun
Fields.
fact. You just stole Trevor's nasty stat.
That's my nasty stat fun fact for the day. Yo.
I like that. What about the ALCS? Both of these games, actually, the ALCS happens today, Game 5, and then NLCS Game 4 happens today as well. What do you have to say about the Royals taking that 3-1 series lead over the Blue Jays?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit shocked. Watching the Blue Jays through the season, their offense was impressive to me. They scored lots of runs in lots of games, so I thought that we would see more offense from them. For them to lose by so many, I feel like, I don't know what's happening again. And again, sometimes postseason, people just don't, there's a reason why there's postseason stats versus regular season stats, and it's not just one thing, because something happens in the postseason. Some players that have been playing mediocre all season show up, and some players that have been awesome kind of lose it, because they've faced these teams before. So I don't know why it's happening, but I don't know. I feel like in our bold predictions, I predicted the Blue Jays to sweep them.
Did you? Okay.
Something crazy like that. So I was totally wrong.
Little recap of last night's game. 4 pitches into the game, Kansas City is already up 2-0. Rios gets his first home run this postseason, and this is the 6th straight postseason game with at least 6 runs for the Royals. The Blue Jays, of course, are 2-3 at home this postseason. I want to say to your question about what happened to the Blue Jays, I want to say that Kansas City's bullpen is really strong, and
Go ahead.
Just like the Cubs series is over, I do think that the Royals will finish this series later this afternoon.
Not only that, too, I feel like the big thing for the Royals is you got the number 1 spot. You got Escobar hitting at he's got a .417 batting average with .611 slugging percentage. So it's like, this guy's leading off. He's creating that momentum. Like, a leadoff hitter to be doing as good as he's doing, it's really important.
It is
because
really
it does
important.
create that momentum. It creates the confidence. It gets everyone focused. It gets the game started. So he's I feel like he's a big factor. And I believe, for another nasty stat, Escobar's the first player in MLB history to hit safely to lead off the first inning in 4 straight games in a postseason series.
Escobar.
Boom.
Trevor, our condolences to you and your Cubs.
I know, but we're trying to keep it real for you, man.
We are. Hashtag TMS Talk. Join the conversation on Twitter. Who do you guys think will win games? Game 5 tonight of the ALCS and Game 4 tonight of the NLCS. We've given you our predictions. I think we both think these.
I think they're both going to
be
be over today.
Yeah, I do too. All right, guys. One of our favorite parts of the show, best of, worst of. Are we gonna do the Marshawn Lynch thing, or are we gonna just say that's whatever? It's okay, whatever.
I mean, you can do it real quick. There was a little bit of an accident after practice yesterday. It seemed to be drag racing. I don't think it was. Nobody got hurt.
Fred Jackson driving a Corvette. Yeah, essentially, there you go. Yeah, Fred Jackson driving his Corvette. Marshawn Lynch driving his Jaguar. A witness said they were drag racing outside the Seattle Seahawks practice facility. We all thought, oh my God, they are drag racing. But yeah, like you said, Steph, law enforcement determined that it wasn't. Or maybe they just determined that they got paid off to keep their mouths shut.
But it's possible.
Okay.
It's possible.
Johnny Manziel. Is he having a good week or a bad week? Johnny Manziel was stopped this week earlier. Traffic stop with his girlfriend. They were fighting or arguing. She said, according to the dash cam recording, that he did hit her a couple of times. There are a couple of bruises on her arm, like a red bruise agitation on her arm. Johnny Manziel did admit that he had had a few Crown and Cokes earlier that day, but when he got stopped, he was not drunk. Is this a bad thing or a good thing for Johnny Manziel to have gotten stopped? Should the Browns cut him? Best week for him or worst week for him for this happening?
Well, I think there's a couple layers here with this one.
Okay.
I think that number one, when you're someone, and I've never been to any treatment for an addiction, so I don't know exactly. But when you're
Addiction
someone,
is the theme of today's show, by the way.
I know, really. But when you're someone that's just out of treatment, that last year you make this statement at the end of the year that pretty much he tried to take the biggest sports media day, the day after the Super Bowl, to come out and say that he was going to rehab.
Yes.
So when you do something like that, I would have thought that he would be sober, like completely sober, like clean, like having 2 drinks with your girlfriend. I don't think is a safe bet, especially during season. So I think that's a bad call for him, number one. Number two, what I heard and watched from that dash cam was the girlfriend saying, yes, he hit me a couple times, but please don't. So I feel like she was trying to protect him, knowing that he's Johnny Manziel, knowing this, that, and the other thing. So is that her saying, please, like if your boyfriend hits you, do you say, please don't do anything? You don't say that unless maybe you're a little bit drunk and maybe you're stretching the truth a little bit. I don't know. But the sad thing is, in this day and age, if a woman says she's hit or if a woman says she's raped or something like that, we always assume she's 100% right. And it's come out that a lot of her statements have been inconsistent. A lot of her police reports have been inconsistent with what's coming out. So not that I'm a Johnny football fan and trying to pull for him, but I feel like at some point in time, you can't always just take what this woman says as what actually happened.
Okay, so to your point about whether or not she's telling the truth, I mean, the bruises on her arm, Johnny or his people have said that was from him grabbing her when she tried to exit the moving car. So if you look at this little red agitation, that could definitely be from him trying to prevent her from jumping out of the car.
It's different. We're not seeing Rihanna's face here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Does it make it right? No, but do couples fight? Do couples quote unquote pass licks, as my mom would say? Do women and men oftentimes put their hands on each other, even if it's not like you said, like extreme Rihanna type situation? Yeah. Is that life? Is it wrong? Probably. Does it happen? Yes. I think this could be a good thing for Johnny Manziel. I do think that the Browns should cut Johnny Manziel, because if you look at the whole Sarkisian episode, imagine if Sarkisian had gotten fired after that pep rally. Maybe he would have gotten the help then that he needed, as opposed to going along, drinking some more, and eventually like losing his job now because he has made a complete fool of himself as an alcohol abuser in front of kids, where you can't do that. Another program might not ever trust Sarkisian to coach, whereas had he been reprimanded before, he would have got an opportunity to save himself from himself. So I think this is a good thing for Johnny Manziel, because if the Browns cut him, maybe he will see this as a wake-up call.
See, if the Browns cut him, I don't think he'll ever play in the NFL again.
Okay, so to that point, even if he never plays again in football, maybe football is not his destiny.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, like being sober and more and living his life is definitely more important. I understand that, but I don't think that it will help his career. And I think that, I don't know, and I feel like the Browns, who are they going to put there? Like their quarterback situation is, I don't know. And that's not a reason to keep him. I'm not trying to say that, but I don't feel him being cut for this one.
Okay, we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Okay,
yeah.
Really quickly, can we play the Fartgate video? Did Ditka rip a live one on television? We have the video.
Oh my God, why are farts so funny?
They're funny.
So funny.
Can we play? Do we have a second to play?
They're going to stay on the field on third down. They're going to make some third down conversion.
I'm not like Susie. I was from Philly, but they got rid of me, so I'm going with the Giants.
Well, see, if the Giants win, they're in first. If the Eagles win, they're in first.
I mean, he totally did the lean. He
Giants
totally
27, the Eagles
and Chris
24.
Carter's like expression.
They're going to stay on the field on third down. They're going to make
Have
some
you ever
first
farted,
down
Steph?
Third down conversion.
I'm not
Have
like
I
Susie. I
ever
was from
farted?
Philly, but they got rid of me, so I'm
in a
going with the
public place.
Giants.
Jarvis, what's up, Jarvis?
Well, see, if the Giants win, they're in first. If the Eagles win, they're in
you can
first.
stop it. Yeah. Steph, have
Giants
you
27.
Have you ever farted publicly? I should have said. I mean, of course you farted. You probably farted as soon as you walked in here today.
I just did.
I did. I farted too just now.
I mean, I'm sure I've farted publicly.
And like embarrassed yourself to the point where someone
I don't
noticed.
really get embarrassed about that. Like, everyone farts, everyone poops, everyone farts.
Okay.
I mean, like, yes, you want to not have a loud fart at like a funeral. You know what I mean? But like, there's certain places where it's appropriate.
Allowed fart at a funeral.
Like that would be
Okay.
terrible. But I mean, have you never farted in public?
Girl, I fart in public all the time.
Yeah.
But mine are normally silent. They do say the silent ones are the deadly ones. Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm not like a ripper like Ditka is.
I think this is a good one.
Yeah.
Hashtag TMS Talk. Have you guys ever farted in public loudly, and was it stink, and how did you react? Steph, you have a
Oh my
fandemonium. Your fandemonium, because I don't have a fandemonium. This is where we give back to the fans. We go through your Twitter and your Facebook feeds and see what we like. This is 100% fan focused. What's your fandemonium tweet today?
Well, my fandemonium tweet was the fact that people were tweeting about Lamar and
Oh,
that
yeah.
the Lakers should get him. And I feel like the love and support for him is so deep,
Yeah.
and it's so awesome that it makes fans think irrationally. Like, you can't blame them for thinking that irrational because they don't understand the system. They don't understand
They
the business.
don't.
Not some of them do.
Some of them do.
Some of them do. I'm not saying it always, but I feel like the fact that that's what they want so much, that they're that much of a fan that they're like, just help this man, put him back on a team. Who cares if the team's not great? Just put him back.
That's
I feel like
ridiculous.
it's ridiculous, but it's love.
Okay. Well, that is it for the Morning Score, your top of day fix for professional and for college sports and for gaming. On behalf of Trevor, who's not here, he's in Mexico with his losing Cubs. I am Erica Renee Davis. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Erica Renee D. You can find Steph Z.
At IAMSTEFZ.
And you can hit her up. You can follow us on Twitter at The Morning Score, on Instagram at The Morning Score Show. Join the conversation at hashtag TMS Talk. Download this on iTunes and on Stitchers, and watch all of our episodes on YouTube because we are awesome. Until next time, Hotline Bling. See ya.
You used to call me on my. You used to. Yeah. You used to call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need